Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Today's lecture, Micro and Macroeconomics, Module 1, Lecture 2. In the last lecture, we have already studied about the concept of economics, the nature and scope of economics. Now here we'll discuss what is micro and macroeconomics. Economics, is that branch of knowledge in which those activities of men are studied which they are undertake to acquire scarce means, that is wealth, to satisfy their unlimited wants. We know human wants are unlimited, and to satisfy these unlimited wants, limited resources we have. So how the human satisfy their unlimited wants with limited resources is the subject matter of economics. If you see the dictionary meaning of the term of economics refers to that science which studies human activities relating to wealth. As Adam Smith, father of economics, has also defined, economics is an inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nation. So the basic concept we know, but let us discuss what are the important branches of economics, that is micro and macroeconomics. Here we'll try to learn that what is microeconomics, what is macroeconomics, the difference between micro and macroeconomics, scope and limitation, importance of the micro and macroeconomics. The Ragnar Frisch, a person who has divided economics into two important branches, two parts, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Micro is derived from the Greek word macros, M-I-K-R-O-S, meaning small. It means the subject matter which deals with the small part of the economy is microeconomics, whereas macro from macros, M-A-K-R-O-S, meaning large, the subject matter which deals with the large part as a whole of the economy is macroeconomics. Now let us discuss one by one in detail about the microeconomics and macroeconomics. In microeconomics, we study economic behavior of an individual firm or industry in the economy. It is the study of particular unit rather than all unit combined. All unit combined is the subject matter of macroeconomics. In micro, we'll study the individual person, the firm, the price, demand, supply, etc. It deals with microeconomics, deals with the analysis of small individual unit of economy, such as particular firms, particular household, individual prices, wages, income, individual industries, and particular commodities, etc. Meaning why microeconomics deals with individual, the problem of individual, whether the firm, whether the person, or maybe the industry. So microeconomics, in the words of Shapiro, deals with small part of the economy. It looks at the economy through a microscope to analyze how the millions of people or how the millions of the unit in the economy play their role, play their part. Now, the subject matter, scope. The scope of microeconomics we can study by dividing in the two subheads. For example, not two, there are 5-6 subheads. We'll discuss one by one in detail. For example, first is the theory of demand. It refers to the consumer's maximum satisfaction. It studies how the demand for a commodity is determined and what is law of demand. Theory of demand refers to the demand of the consumer and his maximum satisfaction. It studies how consumers distribute his income on the purchases of different goods at different prices so as to get maximum satisfaction. Second, theory of production. It refers to the production function and the law of governing production of goods. Production is transformation of input into output. Production function is the technical relationship between input and output. When the raw material convert into finished good, we can say this is the production. We'll discuss in detail this concept in the coming chapter, which is about the theory of production, where we'll also discuss the laws governing the production of goods. There are two laws: one, law of variable proportion, and second one, law of return to scale. Third, the theory of price determination. Along with demand and supply, microeconomics also explain that how the price of different goods and services are determined different market conditions, such as perfect competition, monopolistic competition, etc. Perfect competition we mean when there are homogeneous products, when the firm in a market, in industry can enter and can exit. There is no restriction, large number of firm buyers and sellers. Monopoly means there is no close substitute available, only single seller, and the seller is itself industry. He is price maker. Monopolistic competition, the close substitutes of the commodities are available, and the commodities can be differentiated on the basis of their colors, their packaging, their brand, etc. We'll discuss in detail in the chapter of the market structure. Next, theory of factor pricing deals with the determination of prices of 4 factors of production, namely land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurs. Land, we pay rent. For the use of labor, we pay wages. And for capital, interest, and enterprise, profit. How the price of each factor of production is determined is a problem that deals with distribution of income, and so is studied under microeconomics. Next, welfare economics. Microeconomics also deals with the welfare of the consumers as well as the producers. optimum allocation of the resources next. In microeconomics, we also discuss that how efficiently resources are distributed among the consumers and producers. Now, let us discuss what is the importance of this subject. Why microeconomics is important. Microeconomics explain the functions of the economy. It tells us whether factory productions are efficiently functioning or not. Second, prediction, forecasting. Predictions are made on the basis of the theory of microeconomics. Predictions are always based on certain conditions. That is, if a cause occurs, then a set of results will follow. For example, demand increases, price are also likely to increase, or maybe higher the price, lower the demand, and lower the price, higher will be the demand. Next, microeconomics also helps business to understand why consumers choose to spend their money and on what. The study of microeconomics also helps in formulation of economic policies like fiscal policies, monetary policy, income policy, price policy, etc. The study of microeconomics also suggests how the welfare of people can be achieved in the economy. Now, but there are some limitations of this subject. Unrealistic assumption. Microeconomics is based on unrealistic assumptions. Many economic variables are assumed to be constant. We assume, for example, if we study the law of demand, then we assume that there is no change in the taste and preference of the consumer. There is no change in the income of the consumer. There is no change in the price of related goods, etc., etc. So there are a lot of assumptions on which this theory is based. We have to assume that yes, these things are constant. Second, limited scope. Many economic problems like policies are out of its scope, like fiscal policy, monetary policy, unemployment, poverty as a whole. This is the beyond the scope of economics. Microeconomics is basically concentrating on the small business and how they are affected by the economy. A wrong conclusion, because we assume something and then we predict on the basis of lot of things. So the use of the conclusions of the equilibrium of small units or partial equilibrium in case of the economy as a whole provided sometimes wrong conclusions. Now, next important part, what is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics study the concept of aggregate, or it study the aggregate behavior of the entire economy. For example, aggregate consumption, aggregate employment, general price level, national income, etc. It is the analysis of entire economy, entire system, the overall condition of an economy, the total investment, the total production of the economy. Whereas micro is individual, the problem of individual. Here macro is aggregate as a whole. Macroeconomics analyzes the entire economy like total national income, total output, aggregate consumption, saving, investment, etc. In short, we can say macroeconomics examine the forest as a whole, as a forest, not the trees individually. The individual tree is the study of microeconomics, but macroeconomics study as a whole forest, as a forest means as whole economy, whole of the industry, whole of the world, not single entity. Now let us discuss the subject matter or scope of macroeconomics. It is the study of overall economic phenomena as a whole rather than its individual part. It include theory of national income and output. Macroeconomics studies the concept of national income and its different element method measurement, production method, consumption method, distribution method. We'll discuss one by one in maybe coming lectures. The theory of general price level, the problem of related to inflation, the problem of related to deflation. Inflation we mean when there is a continuous rise in price. The prices of the commodity when continuous increases, we call it inflation. And deflation, in inflation, you know that the consumer, they may be in a loss, but producer will get benefited in the short term. Deflation, prices of the commodities reduce. There is no demand in the market. Next is theory of employment, the problems of employment and unemployment, the factors determining the employment. Employment we mean when needy person will get job according to his or her ability, education, training on the prevailing wage rate, then we can say the person is employment. Prevailing wage rate is very, very important. When the person will not get job according to his or her qualification, his or her the training or education on the prevailing wage rate, we can say the person is unemployed. Various unemployment we have in India, for example, structural unemployment. We have unemployment in India due to change in structure of the economy. We have disguised employment. Disguised employment means the productivity of the labor are near about zero. For example, in agriculture, the lot of persons are working and maybe their production, their productivity, their role in that area may be negligible. Frictional unemployment we have. The demand is less as compared to supply. There is more supply in the market. So frictional unemployment when supply exceeds the demand. We have seasonal employment due to change in season. And there are various unemployment, educational employment. So we'll discuss in the chapter of theory of employment. This is the subject, important subject matter of macroeconomics. Theory of money, which include the demand and supply of money. Functions and theories of money. Classical say that money is nothing but it is a medium of exchange. Money is neutral, means any increase or decrease of money in economy will not affect the real fact of the economy. But the modern economics says no, money cannot be neutral. Money has a capacity of storage. Money has a capacity of the value of, we can convert any things in terms of money. So money is very, very important, which is the subject matter of macroeconomics. Theory of balance of trade and the payment. Balance of trade is the balance of export and import only. And balance of payment include entire all the transactions of a particular country with the rest of the world during a given period of time. That is, in 1 year, how much transaction take place between two countries. That is, we enter all the transactions, economic transactions, in the balance of payments of the country. But only economic transactions and legal transactions. The balance of payment does not include the illegal transactions, or which cannot be converted in terms of economic terms, cannot include all these concepts in balance of payment. Even the tariff is again the subject matter of economics. Tariff is a kind of tax which imposed importable as well as exportable commodity. But generally, it imposed by the government only the importable commodities. It is one of the important quantitative restrictions on international trade. It protects the domestic industry from the foreign competition. So tariff is again very, very important concept, which is the subject matter of macroeconomics. Protection. Along with tariff, there can be an import quota. There can be some other restrictions. Free trade policies. Free trade means when there is no restriction in international trade, that is free trade. So there can be a theory of saving investment, wide concept scope of this subject matter of this macroeconomics, theory of employment and economic growth. Economic growth is very, very important subject matter of economics, macroeconomics. Fiscal and monetary policy are also the subject matter of the macroeconomics. So we mean that macroeconomics has wide scope. Now, why the macroeconomics is important? Macroeconomics is important for many areas of the society. For example, it describes how the economy as a whole functions and how the level of national income and national employment is determined on the basis of aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Macroeconomics deals with aggregate demand, aggregate supply, not the individual demand or individual supply. It also helps in the study of national income of a country during a given period of time. Importance of macroeconomics we can explain with the help of some more these points. For example, the macroeconomics also helps to achieve the goal of economic growth, a higher GDP level and higher level of employment. The theory of macroeconomics also helps in the formulation of economic planning, economic policies. Means economic planning and economic policies are the subject matter of macroeconomics. It also suggests that how to control over trade cycle in the economy, fluctuation in the economy, how the government can control over the inflation and deflation in the economy. So there are various concepts which aggregate concept which can be studied under the macroeconomics. But again, there is some limitations of the macroeconomics. For example, it ignores the contribution of individual units. The most of macroeconomic models have theoretical and significance. Only the theoretical significance, not practical significance. They have very little use in practical life. Several conclusions of macroeconomics are based on the sum of total individual. So these are some important subject matter. Let us discuss that how we can differentiate between micro and macroeconomics. Microeconomics, as we know, is the branch of economics which is concerned with the behavior of individual entity, such as firm and household. The problem of individual firm, the problem of individual household. Whereas macroeconomics is the branch of economics which is concerned with the overall performance of the economy, such as general price level, aggregate saving, aggregate demand. Microeconomics deals with small part of the economy. It is the branch of economics which is concerned with the behavior of individual entities such as firm and household only. Whereas macroeconomics is the branch of economics which is concerned with the overall performance of the economy, such as general price level, aggregate saving, aggregate demand. Microeconomics explain the interrelationship between the economic units like consumers, commodities, firm, industries, and market, etc. Whereas macroeconomics explain about the total national income, aggregate demand and supply, general price level, total employment, etc. Microeconomics analyzes the conditions for efficiency in consumption and production, whereas macroeconomics analyzes the fluctuations and trends in the overall economic activities in a country. Or in the world. Microeconomic theory describes the product pricing and explain the theories of demand, production, cost individually. Factor pricing, which explain the concept of wages, how the wage is determined, rent, interest and profit, and theory of economic welfare. Macroeconomic theory describes the theory of income, employment, to explain the economy-wide consumption and investment, the theory of general price level and inflation, theories of economic growth, and the macro theory of distribution. So in this chapter we have basically discussed that what is microeconomics and what is macroeconomics. What are the subject matter of microeconomics and what are the subject matter of macroeconomics, which is very, very important. These are the base of this economics. The field of economy is, as the Ragnar Frisch has divided in 1933 into two areas, that is microeconomics and macroeconomics. In this chapter, we have also discussed the scope and importance and limitation of both. Microeconomics and macroeconomics play a very important role in the economy as a whole. And these both are interrelated. There is a interdependence between micro and macroeconomics. Lot of concepts are dependent with each other. Thank you very much.